What if the biggest change in your life wasn't waiting for years down the road, but just one simple habit away? What if I told you that your entire life could change with just one small shift? Imagine waking up tomorrow, not weighed down by the same stress, doubts, or endless to-do lists that consume your day. Now picture this. All it takes is one decision, one action to unlock a future that's not just different, but better in every way you can imagine. I'm not talking about a complete life overhaul or waiting for some big opportunity to fall into your lap. I'm talking about simple, powerful actions, things anyone can do right now that have the potential to change the course of your life forever. It's easier than you think, and today we're going to explore exactly how to make that shift. 5 transformational habits you must try at least once to change your life. Number 1, embrace solitude. The greatest revelations often come in silence. Solitude is a state of profound simplicity where the distractions of the world fade and you're left alone with nothing but your own thoughts. It can be daunting at first, especially in a society that glorifies busyness and constant connectivity. We've become so accustomed to the hum of activity that silence can feel unsettling. Yet within that silence lies immense power, a power most of us rarely tap into because we fear it, or we never give ourselves a chance to experience it. Consider what happens when you step away from the daily barrage of information. Your phone remains silent, no buzzing for attention. The endless stream of media stops. For many, this feels uncomfortable because we're so used to being stimulated. But as the hours go by, something begins to shift. Your mind, initially restless, starts to slow down. It's as if a dense fog is gradually lifting, and in its place, clarity begins to emerge. You start to notice the details in your environment, the rustling of leaves, the gentle rhythm of your breath, or the way the sunlight filters through the trees. These are simple, yet profound experiences that we often miss when our attention is constantly divided. In this stillness, a deeper form of self-awareness arises. Without external demands pulling at you, your mind has the freedom to wander, to explore ideas, memories, and emotions that are often pushed aside by the urgency of daily tasks. You begin to reconnect with your own thoughts and feelings in a way that feels unfamiliar but deeply grounding. There's an expansiveness to this quiet space that allows you to think more freely, beyond the narrow confines of your usual routines and habits. Solitude becomes a mirror. Without the noise of others' opinions, societal expectations, or the pressures of deadlines, you start to see yourself more clearly. You might find yourself reflecting on who you are at your core, your values, your dreams, and perhaps even your fears. This introspection isn't forced. It's a natural unfolding that happens when the external world steps aside, giving your inner world room to breathe. You may find yourself questioning long-held beliefs or reevaluating the paths you've taken. With this newfound awareness, you start to understand what truly drives you, what you've been holding on to, or what you've been neglecting in your life. During this time, creative thoughts that have been lying dormant may begin to surface. Our minds are naturally creative, but the constant influx of information often drowns out that creativity. In solitude, you might find yourself considering new solutions to old problems or envisioning possibilities for your future that you hadn't previously considered. Ideas flow more freely when the mind is allowed to roam without restriction. You're no longer thinking within the confines of what you should do or what others expect, but instead, you're tapping into your true desires and potential. This solitude also brings a heightened sense of focus. Without the distractions of modern life, you can dive deeper into your thoughts and emotions. This focus can reveal insights that have been obscured by the rush of everyday life. You may start to see patterns perhaps in your relationships, your work, or your habits that you hadn't noticed before. You might recognize areas where you've been stuck or where you've been holding yourself back. These realizations often come gently, almost quietly, but their impact can be profound. The beauty of solitude is that it doesn't demand anything from you. There's no expectation to achieve or accomplish. It's simply about being present with yourself, allowing whatever thoughts, feelings, or insights arise to do so without judgment or resistance. This non-judgmental space can be incredibly healing. It's a time when you can let go of the need to perform or meet anyone's expectations, including your own. In this space of solitude, you can rest in the fullness of your own being. As you reconnect with yourself, you may find a renewed sense of purpose. It's as though the fog that once clouded your vision has lifted, and now you can see more clearly the path ahead. This clarity doesn't come from external sources, it comes from within, from allowing yourself the time and space to explore your own thoughts and feelings. Solitude becomes a sacred practice, a way to regularly check in with yourself and ensure that the life you live aligns with the person you truly are. Solitude is not an escape from the world, but a way to return to it more fully. When you take time to be alone, to reflect, and to recharge, you return to your daily life with a deeper sense of purpose, a clearer mind, and a stronger connection to your inner self. You become more grounded, more centered, and more capable of navigating the challenges and complexities of life with greater resilience and clarity. By immersing in solitude, we give ourselves the gift of self-reflection, creativity, and inner peace, all of which are vital to understanding ourselves on a deeper level. 2, set boundaries for your energy. Underscore, every yes you give to others is a no to something in your life, underscore. In today's world, there's a constant pull from every direction: friends, family, work, social obligations, each asking for a piece of your time and energy. It's easy to fall into the trap of always saying yes. After all, saying yes seems like the generous thing to do. It feels like we're helping others, being reliable and contributing. But what often goes unnoticed is the cost of these yeses. Each time you agree to take on another task, attend another event, or offer more of your time, you are, by default, saying no to something else in your life. This isn't just about physical energy, it's about mental and emotional space. Every decision you make to give more of yourself to someone or something else leaves less room for your own needs and priorities. Over time, this accumulation of yeses starts to weigh on you. The commitments pile up, and suddenly you're spread thin, trying to be everywhere at once, doing everything for everyone. It might feel noble at first, but there's a slow erosion of your sense of peace, your time, and your well-being. Now imagine the effect of carrying that load day after day. It's not just a momentary inconvenience, it becomes part of your routine, part of your identity. You start to associate your value with how much you can give, how much you can do, how much you can sacrifice. But with each additional obligation, you lose a little bit of your own time to recharge, to think, to breathe. The weight of constantly overextending yourself may not be noticeable at first, but eventually it takes its toll. There's a slow exhaustion that builds a sense of being drained, not just physically, but emotionally. You begin to feel overwhelmed, not necessarily by any single task, but by the sheer accumulation of everything you've agreed to take on. This is where setting boundaries becomes not just important, but essential. Boundaries are not walls to shut others out, they are filters, allowing you to decide what enters your life and what doesn't. By setting a boundary, you acknowledge that your time and energy are finite, that they need to be protected. Saying no doesn't mean you're letting someone down or failing to be helpful. It means you're recognizing that in order to give the best of yourself, you need to prioritize where your energy goes. Each no is a way of preserving your capacity to focus on what truly matters to you rather than being pulled in 1,000 directions. The act of saying no, particularly for those who are used to always being available, can feel uncomfortable at first. You might worry about disappointing others, about being seen as uncooperative or selfish. But setting boundaries is not about rejecting people, it's about respecting your own limits. It's about recognizing that constantly saying yes without regard for your own needs isn't sustainable in the long run. It's acknowledging that your energy is precious, and once depleted, it's hard to replenish. Boundaries allow you to reclaim your time. When you say no to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you create space for the things that do. This doesn't just apply to work or social obligations, it extends to every area of life. Whether it's the requests from colleagues, the demands of family, or the societal pressure to always be productive, boundaries help you step back and evaluate where your energy is truly needed. It's not just about what you're saying no to, but also what you're making room for. Over time, as you begin to establish these boundaries, something interesting happens. You start to notice a shift in your relationships. People begin to respect your time and your energy more because you've set the precedent that they are valuable. Those who truly care about you will understand that your boundaries are not a rejection of them, but a reflection of your self-awareness and the importance you place on maintaining balance in your life. You also start to become more selective about where and with whom you invest your time. You begin to gravitate towards the commitments that align with your goals, your values, and your well-being. Boundaries, in essence, help you create a space where your energy is not constantly being siphoned off by external demands. This space allows for renewal, for focus, and for a deeper connection to what truly matters to you. They enable you to engage in the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and growth, rather than feeling obligated to meet every expectation that others place upon you. Without boundaries, it's easy to become lost in a sea of other people's needs, losing sight of your own in the process. You may find yourself wondering why you feel exhausted or why you no longer have the enthusiasm for the things you once enjoyed. The absence of boundaries creates a sense of being perpetually on call, always available, yet rarely present for your own needs. It's like trying to keep a vessel full of water while constantly pouring it out without ever taking the time to refill it. And while setting boundaries might feel like a bold step, it's a necessary one. It allows you to regain control of your life, your time, and your energy so that you can give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. It's about shifting from living reactively, constantly responding to others' needs and demands, to living intentionally, with a clear sense of where your energy is best spent. 3, start a win journal. Underscore success is built on small wins, not giant leaps underscore. In the pursuit of success, we often fixate on the big milestones, the major achievements, the long-term goals, the grand accomplishments that we think define whether we've made it or not. We become so focused on these distant targets that we lose sight of the smaller steps along the way. These small steps might seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the building blocks of progress. The reality is that true success is rarely about one dramatic leap forward. It's the accumulation of countless small wins that add up over time. A win journal is a way to bring attention back to these often overlooked moments of success. It's a practice that shifts your focus from what's left undone to what you've already accomplished. Each day, at the end of your day, you take a few minutes to reflect on and write down one thing you achieved, no matter how small it may seem. It could be anything: finishing a task you've been putting off, having a meaningful conversation, learning something new, or even making time for self-care. The size of the achievement doesn't matter. What matters is that you recognize it. The act of writing down these wins serves a purpose beyond mere reflection. It's a way of reinforcing your own sense of progress. When you acknowledge even the smallest of successes, you begin to create a mental record of your capabilities. Your brain starts to form new associations that link effort with achievement, no matter how modest. Over time, this habit starts to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing your day through the lens of what didn't get done or what challenges still remain, you begin to view it in terms of what you did accomplish. There's something powerful about the cumulative effect of this practice. At first, it may feel like a small exercise, a momentary pause in your day. But as the days and weeks go by, something begins to change. Your mind starts to focus more naturally on the positive, on the progress you've made, rather than the shortcomings. You develop a greater awareness of your own efforts and how they contribute to your growth. This is the real magic of a win journal, not just the act of writing, but the way it begins to rewire your thinking. The human brain has a tendency to fixate on what's lacking or what still needs improvement. This is part of our natural survival instinct, always scanning for threats or challenges. But in modern life, this tendency can keep us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction, always feeling like we haven't done enough or that we're not moving fast enough toward our goals. A win journal interrupts this cycle. It encourages you to focus on the positive, to recognize that even on the hardest days, there is still something worth celebrating. As you start to track your wins, you might notice that they begin to build on each other. A small success today might lead to another tomorrow, and so on. What once seemed like an isolated victory becomes part of a larger pattern. Over time, these small wins compound, creating a sense of momentum that propels you forward. It's not about making giant leaps, but about consistently taking small steps, one after the other. These steps add up, and before you know it, you've covered far more ground than you realized. The process of keeping a win journal also helps you cultivate a sense of appreciation for the journey itself, rather than being solely focused on the destination. Each small achievement becomes a reminder that progress is happening, even when it feels slow or invisible. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success is something that happens all at once in a single defining moment. But the truth is, most success stories are built quietly in the daily grind of consistent effort, small improvements, and steady forward motion. Another benefit of the Win Journal is that it helps to create a sense of balance in how you perceive your day-to-day life. Often, we only focus on the major challenges or setbacks we faced, and those can overshadow everything else. But by documenting your wins, you create a record of the positives that may otherwise go unnoticed. This simple act of acknowledging your accomplishments can give you a greater sense of control over your life, showing you that progress is always being made, even on days when it feels like nothing is moving forward. There's also an element of gratitude that naturally emerges from this practice. As you become more attuned to your small wins, you begin to appreciate the effort you've put in and the opportunities that have come your way. It's not just about achieving results, but about recognizing and valuing the process itself. Whether it's solving a problem at work, finding time for a creative project, or simply being present in a meaningful moment, each win is a reflection of your growth and capability. The habit of writing in a win journal doesn't require much time or effort, but its impact can be profound. You may find that over time, your sense of self-worth grows not because of external validation, but because you've learned to see and appreciate your own progress. This shift in mindset can lead to greater confidence, motivation, and a clearer vision of your goals. 4, practice the art of letting go. Underscore, sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go underscore. The idea of letting go can be difficult to embrace because as human beings, we naturally tend to hold on to things, whether they're memories, past experiences, relationships, or even beliefs about how our lives should unfold. We cling to these things because they offer a sense of familiarity, even if they no longer serve us or actively cause us pain. There's a comfort in the known, even when it's uncomfortable. But what we often fail to realize is that holding on to these things, especially when they're tied to hurt, disappointment, or regret, can keep us tethered to the past in ways that limit our ability to move forward. Imagine the weight of carrying old grudges, unresolved conflicts, or regrets about choices you wish you'd made differently. Each of these takes up mental and emotional space, consuming energy that could be better spent on the present or creating a future that aligns with your goals. Holding on to these past hurts is like walking through life with a heavy backpack filled with stones, each stone representing a grievance, a mistake, or a disappointment. The longer you carry this weight, the more it wears you down, making each step forward harder than it needs to be. Letting go is not about denying what has happened or pretending that certain things didn't hurt you. It's about acknowledging the reality of the situation and deciding that it no longer needs to dictate how you live your life. The art of letting go is an act of release. It's a way of saying that the past doesn't need to have a grip on your present or your future. It's a conscious choice to stop allowing those old wounds to take up space in your mind and heart, freeing yourself from their influence. Think about a grudge you've been holding on to. Maybe someone hurt you and you've carried that resentment for years. Or perhaps there's a failure or mistake in your past that you haven't been able to shake. Something that you revisit in your mind, wondering how things could have been different if you'd only made a different choice. These thoughts can easily become a loop playing over and over in your mind, draining your energy and focus. The emotional toll of constantly revisiting the past can be exhausting, and yet, because we're so accustomed to carrying this burden, we don't always realize how much it's affecting us. Now, imagine what it would feel like to put that burden down, even for a moment. What if, just for one day, you chose to forgive the person who wronged you? What if, for just one day, you stopped replaying that mistake in your mind and accepted that things unfolded the way they did? This act of letting go doesn't mean that what happened was okay, nor does it mean that you'll forget about it entirely. What it does mean is that you're no longer allowing it to control your thoughts or dictate your emotional state. Forgiving someone, or even yourself, is a powerful way to reclaim your energy. When you forgive, You're not excusing the behavior or erasing the past. You're simply choosing to release the emotional charge that it holds over you. Forgiveness allows you to move on, to focus on what you can create in the present rather than being stuck in the past. It's a way of lightening your emotional load, making space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new relationships that are not colored by old wounds. Letting go of past mistakes in particular can be incredibly liberating. We often hold ourselves to impossible standards of perfection, beating ourselves up for not achieving the outcomes we wanted or making the wrong decisions. But mistakes are an inevitable part of life. They're how we learn, how we grow, and how we become more resilient. By holding on to the idea that things should have turned out differently, we deny ourselves the chance to appreciate the lessons those experiences have offered us. Letting go is also about releasing the need for control. We like to believe that if we hold on tightly enough, we can somehow change the outcome of past events or influence how others perceive us. But the truth is, much of life is beyond our control. Clinging to what could have been or should have been only leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. By practicing the art of letting go, we acknowledge that some things are simply out of our hands, and that's okay. We learn to focus our energy on what we can control: our actions, our attitudes, and how we choose to move forward. When you practice letting go, you start to feel lighter, not just emotionally, but mentally as well. The mental space that was once consumed by reliving past hurts or ruminating on things beyond your control is now free. This creates room for new ideas, new goals, and new ways of being. Letting go allows you to approach life with a sense of openness and possibility, rather than being weighed down by the emotional baggage of the past. This process isn't always easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. Letting go is a practice, something that you may need to revisit time and again, but each time you consciously choose to release something that no longer serves you, you take a step toward freedom. You begin to build the habit of focusing on the present and looking toward the future, rather than being anchored to the past. And with each step, you discover that you have more energy, more clarity, and more peace of mind than you ever thought possible. As you let go, you also become more compassionate toward yourself and toward others. You begin to realize that holding on to anger, regret, or disappointment doesn't change the past, it only prolongs your suffering. When you release these emotions, you free yourself from the cycle of pain and open the door to healing. This doesn't mean that you forget or that the hurt disappears entirely, but it does mean that you no longer carry it with you into every new experience. 5, invest in self-care, not as an option, but a priority. Underscore, you can't pour from an empty cup, underscore. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's all too easy to push self-care to the bottom of our to-do list. We often think of self-care as a luxury, something that we might indulge in when we have spare time, but not as a necessity. However, viewing self-care as optional rather than essential can lead to burnout, stress, and a feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed. The truth is, self-care is not a self-indulgent act. It's a vital practice for maintaining overall well-being and effectiveness in all areas of life. Imagine a day where you fully commit to taking care of yourself. It might begin with a leisurely morning free from the usual rush. Instead of jumping straight into your responsibilities, you take time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, maybe engage in a bit of meditation or mindfulness practice to set a positive tone for the day. You could then indulge in activities that rejuvenate you, perhaps a soothing massage to ease physical tension, a long walk in nature to clear your mind, or simply dedicating time to a hobby that brings you joy and satisfaction. Investing in self-care means prioritizing your needs and well-being above the constant demands of daily life. This might involve setting aside time for activities that relax and recharge you without feeling guilty about it. For instance, a massage might help to relieve accumulated stress and physical strain, offering not just a moment of relaxation, but also a significant boost to your overall health. Taking a walk, especially in a natural setting, can refresh your mental state, providing clarity and a sense of peace that often gets lost amidst busy schedules. Meditation is another powerful tool in self-care. Even a short session can offer significant benefits, helping to calm the mind, reduce anxiety, and increase overall emotional resilience. Engaging in meditation allows you to reconnect with yourself, providing a mental reset that can improve focus and emotional stability. Self-care can also include more playful or creative activities, those that bring joy and fulfillment. Whether it's reading a book, painting, cooking a favorite meal, or spending quality time with loved ones, these activities are crucial for maintaining a balanced life. They help to remind you of what you enjoy and value, contributing to a sense of satisfaction and well-being. When self-care is integrated into your routine, it serves as a form of refueling. Just like a car needs regular maintenance to run efficiently, your body and mind require regular care to function optimally. By making self-care a priority, you ensure that you have the energy, clarity, and emotional strength needed to handle daily challenges and responsibilities. It helps you to stay balanced and maintain a positive outlook, even when faced with stress or adversity. The concept of pouring from an empty cup is a poignant reminder that you can't give your best to others if you're not taking care of yourself. Your capacity to be present, supportive, and effective in your personal and professional roles is directly linked to how well you care for yourself. Without adequate self-care, your energy and enthusiasm diminish, making it harder to engage fully with the people and tasks that matter most to you. Prioritizing self-care is not about being selfish, it's about being realistic and responsible. By recognizing that your well-being is foundational to your ability to contribute to the world around you, you place yourself in a better position to handle responsibilities, offer support to others, and pursue your goals. It's a proactive approach to maintaining health and happiness, ensuring that you're not just surviving, but thriving. Incorporating self-care into your life can transform your approach to daily challenges. It shifts the focus from merely managing stress to actively enhancing your overall quality of life. When you invest in self-care, you build a resilient foundation that supports you through both the everyday demands and the unexpected difficulties. It empowers you to navigate life's complexities with greater ease and joy, knowing that you're well equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Making self-care a priority means understanding its essential role in sustaining both your physical health and mental clarity. It's about recognizing that taking care of yourself is a fundamental aspect of living a balanced and fulfilling life, one that allows you to show up as your best self in all aspects of your existence. As we've explored today, the path to a more fulfilled, empowered, and balanced life doesn't require monumental changes overnight. It starts with small, deliberate actions, from embracing solitude to setting boundaries to keeping a win. Journal to letting go of what weighs you down. And finally, prioritizing self-care each step is a powerful tool for transforming your life. These aren't just optional habits to try when you have extra time. They are essential shifts that can reshape the way you experience the world. Each practice adds value to your well-being, mental clarity, and emotional strength. By integrating them into your life, you unlock the potential to live more purposefully, more authentically, and more freely. These changes are not just nice to haves, they are necessary. Without solitude, you can't hear your own voice. Without boundaries, you spread yourself too thin. Without recognizing your wins, you lose sight of your progress. Without letting go, you remain stuck in the past. And without self-care, you can't pour into others or show up as your best self. So ask yourself, are you ready to take ownership of your life? Are you ready to make these changes and give yourself the opportunity to thrive, not just survive? The power to transform is already within you. All you have to do is take the first step.